Hello and welcome to another SCAR Divi tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use variables in your script. So basically, what is a variable? Now, a variable is a small storage space in the memory where you can store data. So for example, we're going to store an integer value, so a number, in a variable. A variable is always declared in the var section, so we declare the variables in here. And for this integer, I'm going to name my variable I, and I'm going to define it like this with the type integer. Now, if you want to assign a value to a variable, we place the name of the variable, use the assign operator, and we figure out the value or put another variable there. In this case, I'll use 256, and well, when we run this, it works obviously, but it doesn't output anything. So I'm going to output this variable contents with the writeLine function. When we run this, it will show that the content of the variable is 256. So that's correct. Now, the next thing we'll want to try is a string variable. I'm going to name that S. And let's put a string in it. So a string represents a series of characters or text. And I'll just put hello world in there. And if you print that out, it's hello world. Now, for string variables, we can also do something rather unique, and that is that we can select specific characters of that by opening the bracket here, and then we just input the number of the characters. So for example, if you want the 5th character of the string, which should be the O, we just input the 5 there, and when we run this we get a type mismatch. Okay, an ANSI string, there, that works. So it outputs an O in the debug box. Now, there's a difference with arrays, which I'm going to show in a second, that strings are not offset from 0. So basically the character number starts at 1 for the first character, the H in here, and then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In an array, every offset starts at 0, so if you have 3 items in your array, you have 0, 1, 2 as the indices, as they say. So, well, that's what I'm going to show you now. It's arrays, and basically what are arrays? They're collections of multiple variables with a certain index bound to them. So let's try an integer array. So you can define this as an array of integer, or maybe preferred t integer array, which is basically the same thing. Now, before you can actually use an array, you have to specify how many items can go in there. So for that we need the setLength function, and this basically takes 2 parameters, the name of the array you want to resize and the new length for the array. So we're going to try 2 items, and now you can actually put data in there. Basically do the same thing as you got the data from the string. As I said, the items are offset from 0, so the first item is 0 and the second item is 1. If you want to assign that, you just write it like this, and use the assign operator as before, input the value. You can do the same for item number 1. Now, as you've only picked 2 items, I can't go ahead and do the same thing for a 3rd item unless I change the length to 3. So having said that, we can use write line here to output those items. And as you can see in debug box here, it outputs them correctly. So that's basically how variables work. You can define them, put data into them, and read it out afterwards. Aside from that, there's also a form of static variables, which means once they've got their value, and you can only assign these before running the script, they can no longer change. These are called constants. So just going to write const here. It's different than the variable section. This is a constant section, so it's defined by const. And well, you don't have to define a specified type in here, so it does that by itself. So for example, I make a constant here for a string. I do it like this, so it doesn't use an assignment operator either. It just says that the ASDF constant equals the ASDF string here. And if I use write line, it will output that to the debug box. The same thing will work for a number. You can, in case of a number, also add to it, for example. So that's basically how constants work. They're somewhat limited compared to variables, but you'll might think that they're interesting for example, setting certain parameters in your script in advance before running it. So that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.